Hello, 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 my wonderful, wonderful Black people. Welcome to another edition of Sister Share 101 Share. I'm gonna wait till some more people come in. We're gonna have a conversation. We're gonna have a good conversation tonight. All right, a good 15, 20 minutes. So, you know, don't be shy to chime on in and give me your comments and everything because we're gonna have a good conversation tonight. We'll talk about a little bit of things that's been on my mind for the past, I don't know, couple of weeks or so. So yeah, so let's kind of get started. Hope everybody is being safe. If you don't know, we're taking a few steps backwards in opening up Chicago because our percentage of cases have risen. So Lightfoot is putting her foot down, and yeah, so that's where that goes. So anyway, so let's get started. So one thing I want to talk about tonight is, first of all, I want to say that I missed y'all. And I'm trying to do these things regularly as much as I possibly can without my partner in crime. Like the last time I was on here, we were having us a little drink to celebrate her birthday, but now we're back separate again. Okay, so I had the pleasure of going to Alabama again about a couple of weeks ago. It was my grandson's birthday. So he turned 1 year old, and grandma loves you. So we usually go in like late spring, early summer, just before things start to bloom and blossom. We get down there just before that happens. Well, this time, since we got down there in the fall ish kind of weather, I never knew that when my daughter lives in her complex, her backyard is literally a cotton field. Because every time I went down there, I go on the balcony and I look out there and it's just a blank open field. There's nothing out there. It's smooth. It's been, manicured nicely and all of that. So I'm just thinking it's just an open field. Oh, but no, it's a cotton field. Of course, now I might have set us back maybe 400 years or so. But I was like, hmm, I'm gonna go out there to that cotton field and just see what my ancestors did back 400 years ago and why it was such a hard ordeal for them. Now, remember, you're in the South. You're in the South in September. You're in the South in October. You're in the South in August. So temperatures in the South can get up to a good over 100 degrees. That's a normal regular day. So I imagined our ancestors out there. And now, mind you, the cotton stalks are no longer or no taller than maybe, just a little bit above your mid thigh or maybe at your waist level, depends on how tall you are. And to be bent over in that position for 10 to 12 to 13 hours a day in the sun picking cotton, that had to be the most worst kind of working conditions, and you're not even getting paid for it, and you barely get enough to eat for all the work you do. So we had some strong individuals that that we have on our backs right now, and we should be so appreciative of the advantages that we have today. And it's sad, and it's very sad to say that we don't, us as a people, when I mean us as melanated Black people, don't take advantages of the things that there are out there now for us to take advantage of. We waste it all away, and our ancestors got to be turning in their grave because they went through that passage. We didn't. They survived to bring us forth, and to see us now the way we are and the way we're killing each other, and women against women, and I don't want to empower you because I don't want you to get more than me type thing, all this crap in a bucket syndrome. I think we need to just cut it out and we kind of reflect back. So I say all that is because I actually went out there and I actually picked some cotton. I actually brought some back too. So this is 100% pure cotton, not the cotton that you go into Walgreens or Walmart and you want to buy your little cotton balls in the back so you can do your toenails and all that with. No, this is the actually real 100% white cotton. The seeds are still in there. You're like, did I pick that cotton? Yes, I did. I picked that cotton. The seeds are still in here. That's a seed right there. That's a seed. They're so small. But it's like maybe about 5 or 6, about 10 seeds in this one little thing here. So just y'all know that I actually did pick that cotton. I brought back a bud too. So this bud wasn't exactly ready to be picked because it was still closed like this. Oh, it just fell out. So when they're ready, when the cotton is ready, this will expand and open up, and you'll just go in with your fingers and pick the cotton out. Now, you say, well, it was fairly easy. Yeah, that's fairly easy. However, this cotton has thorns on them. There are thorns here, 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 all around the bud. There's thorns. So just imagine your ancestors, the little 5-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds out there picking cotton, and their hands going down in between these things, and those buds, these little sticky things, are scraping their skin and making them bleed. This 10, 12 hours a day doing this. I mean, I just can imagine. I can't imagine. I could only fathom in my mind what that would have been like back then. And if you don't pick enough or you don't bring back enough, you're getting beat. You know what I'm saying? Or, you made a spectacle out of, or you probably won't have any food for that evening because your bail was short. You know what I'm saying? So that had to been like the worst experience ever. And then some people say, well, you know what, today, I wouldn't have been picking no cotton back then. I would have been killed a long time ago. No, you wouldn't. You would have been picking cotton just like everybody else around the picking cotton. Because you know why? Because you wouldn't have no mic. We didn't have any military forces. We didn't have any guns. We didn't know anybody. We were at the mercy of the people that brought us over here because we didn't know the language. We didn't know any of that stuff. So, of course, you're going to conform to what they want you to conform to back then. Now, the way your mentality is now, you can say that now because now you have a little bit of might, you can carry a gun, you can do all this, and you have certain freedoms. So now, of course, you can freely say, oh, you know what, I was back then, I wouldn't have known, because you're thinking of the mindset that you have right now, not the mindset that you would have had back then when you saw your mama being dragged away and going to another plantation, or when you seeing your brother, your daddy getting shot and killed or hung because they want to make a statement, because the master want to make a statement out of somebody. So no, you wouldn't have done that. So let's get it together. You wouldn't have done that. So now that I got that spiel out, it was just amazing to me. This was actually kind of green when I first had it, but over the time since I've been there, it's been kind of melting away there. But I just had to say that, and I just, I my ancestors and all melanated people ancestors were like the strongest out of the bunch. So for them to survive that middle passage, for them to survive coming from all the way from Africa to all the way over here, technology back then is not what it is now. So to go through that, whole experience, I mean, I mean, I'm in awe. I'm in awe because that tells me that we are a strong people. We can endure and go through anything and bounce back and prosper and succeed. So for us to not take advantage of the things that we are afforded today, it's heartening. It breaks my heart. And I see the next generation coming up, and I'm afraid. I'm afraid because they don't have, when I was coming up, they don't have the same type of structure that they had when in my generation. That structure is no longer there because First of all, they're taking prayer out of school. Second of all, you can't whoop your children like you used to do back then to keep them in line. So it that brings about a whole lot of other issues. And with the conditions, well, you never know what goes on in a person's household. I mean, we've all seen the reports on television. The most recent one about the 7-year old. I don't even want to discuss that because I think that is so foul and disgusting. But you never know what goes on in these kids' household, and those schools that are closed now because of the COVID situation. Schools are actually a really safe haven for these kids that have to go home and endure the stuff they endure. They can't wait to get to school to get out of that environment so they can have some type of peace of mind. And we wonder why they get there and they act out or they do certain things or they do this and they do that because there are things that are going on in their household that they don't have a voice for. And that's one of my things that I want to do when I start my non-for-profit. And I keep saying that. I keep saying and I keep saying because I know that's I feel so strongly about that. And you said, well, why haven't you started now? Why haven't you started the process now? Well, I haven't started the process now because I have to take it step by step. I have to get my degree first and then go from there. So I can have the time. Right now, if I started now, I won't devote all the time to it that I need to devote to it. So once school is out the way, which is very, very soon, I'm going to start that. And I can't wait to get started on that. Okay. Now, switching gears a little bit. I have had a conversation with a really, 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 really good friend of mine. And I have never, I mean, I've always thought it and I've seen it here and there, but there are really, really, really some broken men out there. And when I mean broken, I mean not to the point to where, oh my goodness, they homeless, da, 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 da. Not that. I'm talking about emotionally broken. They've had so many things that go on in their lives. It's to the point where they don't trust any woman anymore. They think the next one's going to be like the last one, and you can't get them to realize that every woman is different. Every woman is not going to bring you the same type of drama that the next one did. I mean, come on, women are a little bit drama-ish, but there are degrees of the drama, put it that way. So um it's it's really sad because it's some really good men out there. They are just afraid to trust anybody, you know. And I'm not saying it's all the woman's fault because the woman has had some issues in her life that's probably why she behaves the way she behaves now, you know. And us as Black men and women, we need each other. But at the same time, we don't trust each other. And sometimes we trust the wrong ones too much. And and I think because of that reason why we trust the ones that we shouldn't so much is we looking for that connection. Black people have always had a connection with each other. We've lost that along the way for whatever reason. It's diminishing. It's diminishing. So I think we need to get back to it. But first, we need to understand why it's happening. Why is it happening? You know, why all of the things that go on in the Black families? Why do they go on? What is broken down the Black family as we known it of known it? My grandparents. Oh my goodness, they were married for over 40 something years, almost over 50 years they were married. Why don't we see that today? Why don't we see people in my generation being married for over 20 years, 30 years? Well, that's because they had to get married when they was like 15. But I'm just saying, it's like, why don't we see that anymore? We see that in the ones that are like 70, 80 years old. But if we don't like what you did yesterday, we're down in there trying to file a divorce. We just don't fight anymore like we used to or like we should. But then you have to think about it then. Has anything really changed? I don't think it has changed a lot. I think our women back then, or our mothers back then, kind of protected the family, and because they had these kids with these men, they was like, "I'm going to stay in it because of the kids. It's my family. I don't went through hell and high water with this man, so no. I know he done had a mistress over there 2 times, and this one over there 3 times." And back then, I don't think they wasn't as empowered as they are now. So I think that's why they might have stayed long as they did or stayed in the marriage like they did. But we have to, as black people, men and women, we have to come together and find out what is the issue with us. What is the dividing line with us? Why do we treat each other the way we do? Why we have so much almost disrespect for one another? Like why? What is the problem? How can we just sit can we just sit down and have a discussion and say, why do you do the things that you do? Why do you do the things that you do? It's like we have a lot of hurt in us that we don't want to tell the other person about because we might think, I don't want them to think that I'm such a kind of way because this has happened to me, or I've had to deal with this, or you know what, maybe it's just too much for them. I don't want to tell them all of this. And we kind of hide things from each other, and it's just killing the whole relationship because we want to tell, but then we think if we do tell, they might look at me this type of way, and I don't want to see them this. I don't want them to see me this type of way because I really like it. It's just a whole lot of shit. You know what? Fuck it. Go to therapy. How about that? Just go to therapy. Tell it to the psychologist. You need to just get it out. If, maybe it's what we need to do. Just us as black people just need to we have the weight on our shoulders at times about a whole lot of different things. And I think if we just go and get some therapy, I think we'll be doing pretty damn okay. Because we got that syndrome like whatever goes on in this house stays in this house. We've been brung up on that for like ever, and it's still going on. And I think that's one of the reasons why we have all of this stuff up inside of us because whatever goes on in the house stays in this house. We don't have a voice. So, especially young black females, they really don't have a voice sometimes. And a lot of times things that happen to them, they think it's their fault, or they're looking for attention in places where they shouldn't look for attention in, because the parent is not giving much attention as they should be. They're not involved in it. It's a whole plethora of things that goes on in the black family. And I don't want to just pinpoint the black family. It goes on in all families, but I'm talking about the black family mainly because I'm black. So, hey, there you go. So, I think us as a people, we really need to get together. And, you know, it's a long process because we have a lot of things to go through that has happened to our people in the past that are still happening. And to compound that with other things that, that we don't see every day is hard. And to have to live with that and carry that, we have to carry the past and the present and some of the future on our shoulders every day. You know how difficult that is? That is hard. I have to carry the past on my shoulders. I have to carry the present on my shoulders and the future. Because what I do today affects what's going to happen to my kids tomorrow. So I have 3 things I have to deal with: present, past, and future. The things in the past haven't even been corrected. So I'm still dealing with that. The things right now in the present I have to deal with that I on a day-to-day basis. I got to find out how I'm gonna do this and that and the other third. So I have to deal with that. And I have to deal with whatever I do now at this moment. It's gonna affect not my own, not just my kids, but my future as well. So that's hard. That's hard for people to have that on their shoulders, and no other ethnic group can actually say that but brown melanated people. What other ethnic group can say, well, I got to carry the past in the present and the future on my shoulders? No, because your past are pretty damn good. That's why you at where you at now. So you ain't got that set you up for the present right now and for some of your future. So you sit free right now. You ain't have to worry about that. But that just goes to show how us as Black people are so strong and powerful and can do anything. We are a smart people, but we don't use it enough. We want we want that we want that instant life. We don't want to work for it anymore. We feel like sometimes we feel like, you know, we should be given or handed things a lot of times, and that's not the way life is. You have to work for it, and sometimes you can work as hard as you can, and those doors still not opening, and that's because of other things that's going on behind the doors or behind the scenes that we don't see. You know, we are a feared people. Now, why we're feared, I don't know. That's something you got to ask them. Why do you fear us so much? Maybe because you already know what we're capable of. And if you were to do what you're supposed to do as society would allow you to do, or what you're supposed to do as us being humans anyway, give us the same opportunities that you were afforded, you know that we would probably, and no, probably too, we're surpass you, and then you would be the minority. And of course, who wants to give up their power? But that's a whole nother subject. We're not going to get into that right now. But you know what I mean. So it's unfortunate, but there is some light at the end of the tunnel. I'm seeing a lot of us coming on board, empowering themselves, especially us Black women, empowering themselves, um, getting their own businesses, starting their own organizations, and that's saying a lot. Yes, we're seeing a lot of women doing this, and that's a wonderful thing. But we need to see more men stepping up to the plate too. We need to see more men taking a stance and being in leadership and owning their own businesses and things like that. We need to see our men coming up with us. We don't want to surpass you. We want to be side right there with you. We want to do this thing together. And yes, there are a lot of advantages that a Black woman has that a Black man don't. I'll be the first one to say that. And that's real talk. There's a lot of advantages a Black woman can get things done faster than a Black man can. That is the truth. But us Black women, we got to get smart about it. We got to get smart about it. Oh, baby, you want this business? All right, just put it in my name. Or I'll go through the steps with you and they'll see my face, but it's really yours. We got to think like that, because if we don't, we're gonna pass y'all by. Y'all gonna be left behind, and y'all supposed to be the leaders. Y'all supposed to be the leaders, not us. Now, a lot of women might say, "No, I'm the leader." Huh? Don't tell. I ain't got to have no man. No, you don't have to, or you don't need so-called a man. But for that structure, you should want one. I'm just saying. Now, I might be wrong, but it's just my opinion. That's all I got to say on that subject. But that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to get that off my chest a little bit and, have a little conversation with you guys. I know I haven't been on in a while. Things are kind of winding up here, especially with school and everything. And, you know, that's one check off my bucket list that I had to do, is to get my degree. And that's what I'm doing so I can do other things that I want to do in my life. And, I always thought that the older you got, the less that could accomplish in life because you're already older. But I am slowly getting that myth out of my head, because there are a lot of things that I want to do at my age. Because I'm 50 years old. So, you know, I don't think I'm going to be around for another 50. I mean, God willing, if he sees fit for me to stay here until I'm 100, and my great grandmother did it, so hey, why not? Um, but yeah, there are a lot of things that I want to do, and I want to leave something or a legacy for my kids and my grandkids to say, Grandma did that thing. She did that. And on that note, everybody stay safe. Everybody wash your hands, sanitize, sanitize, sanitize. 6 feet, stand back. And I'll see you all next time. Peace, my people. Bye. Okay, bye.